It's 2023 and we're asking, is there hope? Is there a future? Is there peace in the new year? Happy New Year. You know, I teach English online with many students from all over the world. And today I had a really important lesson with a friend, a student I've been teaching a number of times. He lives in China and he's had a very, very difficult year and he's struggling with lots of things in his life. And despite that, he's learning English and he's pushing forward. But life has been a struggle. And we asked the question, you know, what are your plans for the new year? Do you have any New Year's resolutions? And he said, I want to find peace in my life. Then he asked me a very important question. He said, Carl, how do you find peace in your life? Isn't that the question that we all are grappling with at the moment? The world is a very uncertain place. There are wars. There's all sorts of stuff going on politically. There are many fears about the environment. There are lots of things. And in our own lives, we're all faced with lots of different uncertainties, financial, health. And many of us are asking, is there any hope? Is there any future? What's the next step? In the midst of all that, we're asking that question, how can we find peace? Some friends I met with on New Year's Eve, we just got together. It's quite quiet really. I'm getting old now, so nothing too exciting happens on New Year's Eve. We were just having a drink, chatting, looking back on the year. And as we look back on the year and really our whole lives up to this point, we recognise that through all the ups and downs, that God had been good, that God had looked after us. One day somebody asked Jesus the question, what's the most important commandment? And he said, to love God. To love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. And we might think, is that the answer? Is that what gives us peace? Listen to this very important Bible verse that I've been reflecting on recently.
Isaiah 26, verse 3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you.
So what did I say to my friend who asked me the question, Carl, where do you find peace? Well, it's an obvious answer, but I said I find peace in my relationship with God. And that is where I find my hope and the resources to be able to live my life in all the things that I do. And his peace guards my mind and guards my heart. Well, that was not the answer that my friend wanted to hear. I think he wanted me to say something else, you know. But I have to be honest with you, as I'm honest with myself. The only place we will ever find peace is in Jesus and a relationship with God. And knowing him, he will keep you in perfect peace when our minds are steadfast on him. I wish I could say it's something else, you know, like take up gardening or whatever it is, have a holiday or something. But whatever it is, it will not provide the peace that we so desperately need. That comes from knowing God and loving him. When I was talking with my friends on New Year's Eve, we asked the question, why does God want us to love him? Is he an egomaniac? Is he just focused on himself? It seems strange that he would say, love me, worship me, think about me, focus on me. This is not something that we'd expect anybody to do. But why does he do that? Because he loves us. And he wants us to live in freedom, and he wants us to live the best life that we can live. And he knows that if we try any other thing to find that peace, it will not work. And so that's why he says, love me, and you will find your peace in me. Now, here's how I used to think this worked. I thought it was a list of priorities. And Jesus was saying, put God first. And then next, probably we would think my wife or my husband or partner. And then we might say our family, or whichever order it is for you. It might be job, church, all these different things. We would put them in order. Friendships, finance, we'd put these things in order. And what I thought seeking God meant was, seeking God first was, he was saying, spend more time with me. Focus on me. Think about me. Spend more time with me than you do with your wife. Spend more time with me than you do with your job. But that's not how this works. God doesn't want us to separate our lives into compartments. He wants us to seek him in everything. What that means is we have our minds steadfast on him. We put his kingdom first and his righteousness, and he is then the center of our life. And so everything that we do flows out of that and comes into that. So he comes into our marriage. I love my wife more because I love God. Comes into our family and our relationships and our church and our work and our finances and friendships and our hobbies and interests and everything else that we do. We practice God's presence and he flows in all of these things. So, how do we find peace in 2023? We find it by loving God, having a relationship with him, and bringing him into everything that we do. May you and I find and experience and know the wonderful, perfect peace that passes all understanding. And may he rest with us throughout this year as we experience him in everything that we do. God bless us all.